All right, everyone, welcome back. So, the 2024 NHL draft, well, the first round, I guess, of the 2024 NHL draft has officially concluded. The first 32 picks. Let's get straight into it here. So, some trades, some surprises, some steals, some reaches. There was a lot of that tonight in this year's draft. And this year's draft, again, was very wide open, and it showed in the final draft rankings. So let's get into it here. Starting out with first overall to the San Jose Sharks, Macklin Celebrini. Again, should not surprise anyone that Celebrini's first overall. He's going to be very special for the San Jose Sharks. And it kind of started a night here where San Jose had a pretty solid night, I would say, overall, and got Celebrini and later on Sam Dickinson, who we'll get into in a little bit here. But I really liked all the picks that were made by the Sharks. So Celebrini first overall, great selection there. Second overall to the Blackhawks, they got Artem Levshunov from Michigan State. Obviously, this pick was very expected too. I like this one a lot. Definitely a 10 out of 10 pick. They needed a defenseman, and I think they went the right direction here with Artem Levshunov at the second overall pick. Third overall, Beckett Seneca. Wow. Was not expecting that at third overall to the Ducks. I simply was not. Because even when you looked at Seneca, he was like, what? He was shocked that he got picked that high because he wasn't projected to be that high. He was maybe going to be just inside the top 10, not third overall. So pretty high value on Seneca. I like the pick a lot. I feel like, though, it's a little bit of a reach. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. But, again, Anaheim just doesn't care about your ranking. They're going to pick you no matter what. Fourth overall to Columbus, Caden Lidstrom. I like the Lidstrom pick a ton. I think that Lidstrom will fit in very well with Columbus and overall what they're doing there. There are some concerns about his back, but I do like it a lot overall. Fifth overall goes to Montreal with Ivan Demidov. I love this pick too. I think Demidov has a lot of potential with the Montreal Canadiens, and I think that getting Demidov at fifth really, it's a steal, honestly, because Demidov was going to go second at points in this year's draft, but nope, he goes down to fifth, and Montreal, I think, had a very good draft. They're one of the winners tonight, even though I'm wearing a Chicago jersey, who I also think is a big winner. Getting Demidov at fifth was a huge win. Sixth overall to Utah. I know I'm moving pretty quick here, but I want to get this uploaded and quick and ready to go. Tisha Ginla to the Utah Hockey Club. Great pick there. It was kind of shocking, honestly, that he went that high. I figured he'd go a little bit lower, but I guess they're going with a Ginla at that point. I don't hate it. We'll see we'll see how he does with Utah, but a good first pick there. Getting someone who definitely has a lot on his shoulders with obviously his dad Jerome and his brother Joe, who is going to be a good pick in 2026. So stay tuned for that. Seventh overall, Carter Yakimchuk went to the Ottawa Senators. Interesting pick. It's very interesting. Honestly, for a guy like Yakimchuk, I figured he'd go around 12, but Ottawa, there were rumors all year that they were going to take a right shot defenseman, and Yakimchuk seemed like their guy, and there he is going at 7th overall to the team. I don't know if it feels a little bit too high, but obviously you guys can be the judge of that. 8th overall, Berkeley Catton to the Seattle Kraken. I think Catton's a good pick there too. I think he's a little bit undersized, but I think Seattle, it's a good pick alongside Matty Beniers. He's going to be exciting. It's going to be a fun forward core there with guys like Shane Wright, Berkeley Catton, and Matty Beniers with the Seattle Kraken in the next couple of years. 9th overall, Zane Parik to the Calgary Flames. Another really good pick there as well. I think Parik has a lot of defensive potential, and I think that he was probably the second or third best defenseman in this year's draft. What's crazy is that Yakimchuk ended up being the third best when he's expected to be like the 6th or 7th best. Kind of crazy to think. 10th overall, Anton Silyev to the Devils. Like that pick a lot. I think that that's a solid selection there. Very tall. Devils had a lot of issues when it came to locking down players. I think Silyev's the best option for that. Very good defensively for a team that wasn't so great defensively in previous seasons. 11th overall, Sam Dickinson. I'm trying to do this quick because my voice is killing me. But Dickinson to the Sharks, good pick there. Best defenseman probably in this draft, honestly, besides Levshunov was my understanding, but great pick there. 12th overall is Zeev Boyum to the Minnesota Wild. Massive steal here. I didn't think Boyum would drop down this low, but a combined a combined pairing of Boyum and Faber is going to be great. It's going to be a great watch in Minnesota for sure. But Boyum at 12th, I think is a good pick. 13th is where I have my concerns. Philadelphia selects Jet Luchenko. Weird pick. I figured you could have gotten Luchenko at that 32nd pick. Not going to lie. But hey, they need centers. They don't have a lot of center depth, so it makes some sense here to go with Luchenko. Then again, I feel like there were some better centers on the board that weren't named Luchenko. Like, this was out of left field here. I did not expect this to happen. But Luchenko there at 13th overall. Interesting pick. 14th is Consta Helenius going to the Buffalo Sabres. Steal of the draft. And if you asked me at the beginning of the thing where I thought that he would go, I said 10th. But 14th to the Sabres is also a really good pick there for the Buffalo Sabres for sure. So they get another huge steal. 15th overall, Michael Brandseg-Nygaard. That's also a really good pick. I like Nygaard a lot. I'm actually really high on Nygaard throughout a lot of the drafts that I've done. I didn't think he'd go like super high, but I still think he's a really solid player at 15th. 16th overall, Adam Juracek to the St. Louis Blues. Interesting because he missed a lot of time with injury. You'd think he dropped, but instead he kind of rose a little bit, honestly. So interesting there. I'm sure they're very high on him at 16th. 17th, Tariq Parasak has some good potential. The Capitals liked him a lot of the draft combine. I think that Parasak makes the most sense. I think that he will be a stud with the Capitals. 18th overall, and it's probably the reason why I'm wearing Chicago. They got Saka Boisvert. They also had another pick later on. So, again, a good deal here for Chicago. They get Levshunov, Boisvert, and then later on they get Marek Vanaker, who we'll get into in a little bit here. But Chicago, in my eyes, had a really good draft. 19th overall was Trevor Connolly. Connolly's is the most Vegas pick ever, it seems like. I really am not surprised at all that he went at 19th. Connolly, high upside forward. I think that he's going to do some good with the Vegas Golden Knights, and I think he has some potential despite some things we've heard on the media. 20th overall is Cole Yzerman. Yzerman drops to 20th for the New York Islanders to take him. Interesting choice. I gotta say, interesting choice there, but I like Yzerman. I think he could be a steal for the Islanders, and I think that he's gonna have a bright future ahead if he fixes some of his defensive woes and things like that. But 21st, Michael Hage. Hage's story is great. I think that it's awesome that he got drafted, and I'm wishing nothing but the best for him. Great potential there with the Canadiens. 22nd overall, Yegor Surin. Think there's some potential there too with him. I like him a lot as well for Nashville, but again, the Russians are a little bit 23rd overall was a traded pick from Toronto to Anaheim. They get Stan Solberg, so they get a good defensive prospect there at the 23rd selection. So again, Anaheim made out pretty well too. They got Seneca and Solberg, so good solid draft there from them as well. Utah Hockey Club got Kyle Bedoin at 24th, another traded pick there from Colorado. But then again, they got Iginla and Bedoin. I think those are two really good selections there for Utah, 100%. 25th, the big Dean Letourneau. I like Letourneau a ton. I think he has some great potential for the Boston Bruins, and I think that that's really going to transition over. But again, he's a project. He's going to take a lot of time before he gets over, and I think that it has some high risk, but it also has some very high reward if it does work out in favor of the Boston Bruins. 26th overall, Liam Greentree goes over to the LA Kings. He dropped because of attitude issues, it seems, but still another guy with some potential there. Could be really good, but we'll see what he can do with LA. 27th overall, Marek Vanaker. Again, as I said, Chicago had a really good draft, and Vanaker, I think, is a solid player to add to that roster. Calgary at 28th, Matvei Greden. Good pick. Seen a lot of guys from the United States Hockey League in this draft, and it's been interesting that We've seen a lot of guys. They've really developed into a really good hockey league, to be honest with you. 29th overall goes to Emil Hemming, a Finnish player there. The Dallas Stars really like their Finnish guys, so makes a lot of sense, but I like the pick. I think he's going to be a good player. There's some really big studs in this year's draft. 30th, E.J. Emery to the New York Rangers. He's not related to Ray Emery, the goalie, if you're wondering. He's related to a guy in the CFL. But regardless, Emery, potential is there to become a good defenseman. Could be a big steal there for the Rangers. 21st is Ben Ranford. Interesting pick here by the Maple Leafs. Or Ben Danford, sorry, not Ranford. But Denford, interesting. I feel like you could have gotten him later on in the draft and not in the first round. But, okay, I guess they know something we don't. And then 32nd was traded from Philly to the Oilers, who takes Sam O'Reilly. Nice guy there, London Knight. I think he's rising up a lot. There's been a lot of OHL London Knights who have risen up in this draft. I think there was 3 of them that were taken, actually. So, ton of potential there. But that is your first round. A lot of guys were winners. There were some guys that were losers, too. I think Philadelphia had a pretty strange draft. I think that Buffalo really won in this draft. Chicago had a good draft. Anaheim had a solid draft. San Jose did, obviously. Tons of potential here with these prospects, and I cannot wait to dive into them in the prospect pool reviews over the next couple of weeks and months. But regardless, that does it for my draft review. I know it's a little bit of a shorter one, but I do want to get this out much faster than I do my usual ones that I've done in the past. But regardless, thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to like, subscribe down below. I would greatly appreciate it. But regardless, thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Adios.